you're enthusiastic about Rosen. We've talked about Darnold before, but if people don't know you or haven't watched us before, what do you think about the speculation that the Niners coming from Colin Cowherd, who I don't know,
Sam Darnold to no avail.
He loves USC and he loves Sam Darnold. So he said that if the rumors are true, blah 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 blah. Anyway, let's say the rumors are true. What do you think of the Niners potentially being interested in Sam Darnold?
This would be the most disappointing move to me that they would make at quarterback. And it's not that I don't think Sam Darnold's talented. He's shown glimpses of a ton of talent. If you take Sam Darnold's top 10 throws and you put them in a highlight reel, you'll say, wow. But the problem is if you take Sam Darnold's worst 10 throws and put it in a highlight reel, you should say that he's out of the league. And look, if you want I will, again, full disclosure, if you want to check my objectivity, you can check it because I did not think Sam Darnold was good before the draft. I thought he was just another overrated, well-spoken, big white quarterback that you see get overdrafted all the time, like the Jake Lockers, the Blaine Gabberts, the Blake Bortles. And look, I was wrong. Sam Darnold's better than all of them. He's not the big, great personality.
No, Zach Wilson has the Josh Rosen personality.
Right.
Honestly.
And okay.
Super rich.
Yep. And I do want to mention I was wrong. Sam Darnold is a much better player than all of those players. He's shown glimpses of a lot more talent than any of those three guys did. So I was wrong there. What I do want to say is, okay, so people bring up Adam Gase, right? And Rich Madrid on Twitter did a phenomenal job on his burner account charting, putting up a little film thread of Sam Darnold and pointing out how Adam Gase's offense is not suited for his athleticism. And I get that. And that's why Joe Flacco was a much better player in this offense last year than Sam Darnold was. But even within the offense, you can evaluate what Sam Darnold did. And Sam Darnold wasn't always the best post-snap of knowing where to go with the ball. He often looked lost on where to go with the ball. He was inaccurate at times. Yeah. So there was a lot of ugly with Sam Darnold.
Execute an offense well.
And so there was a lot of ugly that was there. And you can say, well, Shanahan's going to help with those things. And I agree. But my biggest question with Sam Darnold is the fact that you got to make a contract decision on him this year. And I don't think he's shown anything where you say, I want to pay $25 million to him on his fifth-year option, which means you're on a one-year rental with a quarterback who looks like he's lost all his confidence, and you have to rebuild it and try to make a Super Bowl run. To me, that makes no sense. I don't know how they're going to do it. The other thing is Sam Darnold is yet to start 16 games in the NFL. Mono aside, his second year, he's had small, like a foot bruise that kept him out, a foot sprain that kept him out, a small shoulder thing that kept him out. So if you're looking for the 100% durability that's there, and I get the Adam Gase excuse, right? Everybody wants to jump on Ryan Tannehill. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. Sam Darnold's really raw. He's the same raw player he was at USC. He's not grown in any more polish to his game. Ryan Tannehill was a polished quarterback when he played with Adam Gase. I don't think quarterback wins are a stat, but a lot of you do. Ryan Tannehill and Adam Gase had a winning record together. Their biggest problem was Ryan Tannehill got hurt. Ryan Tannehill was polished. He played like a veteran. He was smart, and he finally went to an offense that suited him, and he became a superstar. Ryan Tannehill and Sam Darnold are apples to oranges. Ryan Tannehill was just a much better player than Sam Darnold in every facet of their career thus far. So that is not the comparison. To me, you're looking at something that is a 1 in a 100 shot in the dark. And it's way more risky than Rosen because Rosen's right here on the roster. You're paying him $750K and you're just asking him to be the backup or the third string. And if you get something out of it, you hit lightning in a bottle. And if you don't, you don't lose anything. With Darnold, you're giving up a pick, and Schefter seems to think it's a late first, early second, so it's a valuable pick. I don't know how Sam Darnold would be worth that, and you're giving that up for a guy who hasn't shown anything, and he's the only guy that we always go back and say he didn't have an offensive line, he didn't have a head coach, he didn't have a GM, but all these guys come into the NFL with that. Like Kyler Murray, his first year showed sparks, right? What was Kyler Murray playing with? Was Larry Fitzgerald. Oh, Larry Fitzgerald, Hall of Fame player. What is Larry Fitzgerald right now? Not that good. Hakeem Butler was a bust. Who did they have last year for Kyler Murray? He made their offense happen. Joe Burrow this year before he got hurt. What is Zach Taylor? Can someone explain to me how Zach Taylor is this brilliant play caller? They basically spread it out and didn't run Joe Mixon and had Joe Burrow throw it 40 times a game, and Joe Burrow would just make play after play after play happen. And maybe T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are much better than any weapons, but that doesn't make that much of a difference.
Darnold, though, I'm not writing him off. He may turn it. He's a kid. Like he was a number 3
He's
pick.
23.
Yeah, he's young. Like everything we've said about Rosen applies to Darnold in his own way. I'm not writing off Darnold. All I'm saying is,
why does he get it?
Why does he get the benefit of the doubt? And why would you want to go trade a pick and pay him like $5 million when there's no real evidence that he's better than the guy that's already on your team in Josh Rosen? That's what I'm saying. Like, why does yesterday Dan Orlovsky tweeted it was like if Sam Darnold can get on the right team, I have no doubt. There's no doubt he can be a stud. Like, what do you mean there's no doubt? No doubt? Really? But there is a doubt with Josh Rosen. Why?
I don't know. He does show glimpses of talent that these other guys don't show, but the consistency when you look at Sam Darnold as a player, like, I don't know why people wrote off Josh Allen last year after his as a young guy with nobody to throw to. The Bills went to the playoffs and everybody's on the Josh Allen train. But before last year, everybody wrote him off, right? Bust. They put him as a bust. Daniel Jones has been written off similarly. And look, Sam Darnold's not more talented than Josh Allen, but he is more talented than Daniel Jones. But somehow people are sticking by him and not writing him off. I think the way Sam Darnold's been treated is how all young quarterbacks should be treated, actually.
Right. That's fine. So why doesn't Rosen get? That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm nothing against Darnold. Stick with him. He's 23, yada, yada, yada. But like, yay, what about Rosen, who's on his fourth system in 3 years? You know?
He had 3 coordinators in UCLA.
Correct. That team sucked. He had shoulder surgery. He had concussions. He got smacked at UCLA.
And you know what it is? You know what it is? It's what I always talk to. It's my number one pet peeve in sports and sports coverage. It's pre-draft perception. Sam Darnold, people said, was the next best prospect since Andrew Luck after his sophomore year of college. But guess what? He was nowhere near Andrew Luck. His game is still not polished. It didn't have that type of polish of a Trevor Lawrence and Andrew Luck.
He had one good year in college where he played with Ronald Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster, and a good defense that had like a Dory Jackson and a bunch of good players. Yes.
And he's still the same raw player he was then, right? And you're hoping Kyle Shanahan
throws a bunch of picks.
Yes. And you're hoping Kyle Shanahan can bring that polish to him, and I see why. But that pre-draft perception that he was this all-time great prospect is what's really keeping him alive when people wrote off Josh Allen before the draft. People wrote off Daniel Jones before the draft. Right. People wrote off Drew Lock before the draft. And Drew Lock's got an absolute cannon, but people think Denver should move off of him and not give him the chances that a guy like Sam Darnold's getting. So, look, his situation has sucked, but his play has also has been less than ideal. I would not be a fan of this move, and I don't want to be in a position where I trade for him and have to make a contractual decision on him immediately when I have a team that I think can compete for a Super Bowl.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. Because I don't want to talk about Sam Darnold ever again.